Hello everyone, this is Vivek Singh. I work as a senior solutions specialist at Informatica. In this video, we will talk about how to scan Microsoft Power BI resource in Cloud Data Governance and Catalog. We will have an overview of Microsoft Power BI, the objects which can be extracted from Microsoft Power BI into CDGC, prerequisites for configuring the Microsoft Power BI Cloud resource, the prerequisites or configuration for each connection types, resource creation in MCC, job monitoring, and we'll have demo on each topic. Microsoft Power BI is a business intelligence tool that allows you to connect to source and create dashboards that can be shared with other users. Please note, in this video, we are talking about Microsoft Power BI Cloud and not any on-prem version of Power BI. Currently, the objects which are extracted from Microsoft Power BI into CDGC are workspaces, dashboards, datasets, reports, tile, and workbook. Please note, we cannot get column level information for Power BI reports into CDGC. Before you start configuring Microsoft Power BI resource in Metadata Command Center, please make sure that your organization have the required licenses. So log into IICS Administrator license and under license, go click on the Data Governance and Catalog and check for Power BI Cloud Scanner package and Azure Power BI Scanner. CDGC supports two type of connection to Power BI source. First one is using admin user, which requires Power BI Cloud URL, client ID, username, and password. Second one is service principal, which requires Power BI Cloud URL, client ID, tenant ID, and client secret. Now let's talk about Power BI scan using admin user credentials. Log into portal.azure.com and search for users. Click on users and create a new users if you do not have one already. Provide an alias name for the user, display name for the user, and click on review and create. Once the user is created, click on assign roles, click on add assignments, and then assign either Microsoft 365 Global Administrator or Power BI Service Administrator. I have assigned Power BI Administrator role to this user. Now we need to create a native application. In the search box, search for Azure Active Directory, click on Azure Active Directory, and then click on App Registrations, then New Registration. Provide a name for the application and click on Register. Once the native application is created, click on API permissions, add permission, Power BI service, click on delegated permissions, and select all the required Power BI API permissions, and then click on add permission. Now click on grant admin consent. You can see all the required Power BI service permissions on the screen. Now click on overview of this application and then click on redirect URIs. Scroll down and under advanced setting you will see option allow public client flows. Set it to yes and save the changes. For the native Active Directory application, click on owners, add owners, and add the Power BI Service Administrator user which we created in previous step. Log into app.powerbi.com, click on the gear icon, admin portal, scroll down and under admin API setting, look for enhance admin API response with a detailed metadata. Enable this for entire organization. Then look for enhance admin API response with DEX mashup expressions. Enable this for entire organization. Now we need to add this user as admin user for all the workspaces. Click on the workspace, select the workspace and then workspace access. Add the user which we created as admin. Perform this step for each workspace. To refresh the datasets for all the workspaces under admin portal, click on workspaces and then select the workspace and then click on refresh. This will refresh the datasets. Perform this step for all the workspaces which we are going to scan. To create a resource, log into Metadata Command Center and click on New and create a resource for Microsoft Power BI. Provide the details like Power BI Cloud URL, client ID. This client ID is the ID of the native application which we created in portal.azure.com. This value. Username and password for the user which we created in Microsoft Azure portal. Click on Next. Select the runtime environment using which you want to run this scan.
You can choose to include or exclude personal workspaces from the scan. To scan only the workspaces which are modified in last n number of days, you can specify the value in the text box. The value should be between 1 and 30.
Click on Next. In the next step, you can specify the filter to include or exclude the workspaces. I have specified a filter to include only one workspace for this scan. Click on Next. You can do stakeholder assignment in this step. I will leave this box unchecked. In case you want to specify a schedule for this resource, you can do so in this step. Save the resource and then click on Run. After successful execution of the resource, you can see the metadata extraction stats here. To tag any reference resources with actual object, we need to do connection assignment. To do connection assignment, click on Monitor, Connection Assignment, refresh this page, and here I can see my Power BI resource is listed and it is showing it needs a connection assignment for this particular connection name. So I know that this is GCS underscore HC underscore Vivek schema is in the Snowflake resource, and because my Power BI report is built on top of the Snowflake tables and my Snowflake tables are residing in this schema which is in Snowflake. So I will assign this to a Snowflake resource. Click on three dot and click on assign, and then I look for the Snowflake resource. So this is the Snowflake resource and this is the schema. I will select this and then click on assign. After successful completion of connection assignment job, go to data governance and catalog page, browse, and then data catalog. Open the Power BI resource, and here we can see all the objects extracted from Power BI into CDGC. Let's open any dashboard. Lineage. I will expand the lineage to maximum. And then I'll also select more granular information. So I'll select data element level lineage. And here I can see this is my actual Snowflake resource, which came as part of connection assignment. And it has three tables. On top of these three tables, this is a Power BI dataset. And on top of this dataset, this is a Power BI report. On top of this Power BI report, there is a dashboard with the name Superstore dashboard, which contains two tiles. Let's now talk about service principal. Log into portal.azure.com. Search for Active Directory. Click on Active Directory. And then first we need to create a service principal. So for that, click on App Registrations. Click on New Registration. Provide a name for this service principal and then click on Register. Once the service principal is created, please take a note of application client ID and directory tenant ID, as these two information will be needing for resource creation in MCC. Now click on certificates and secret, new client secret, provide a name for the client secret, Select the validity according to your need and then click on add. A new certificate key will be created and copy the value of this certificate key. Please note that once the certificate is created and you copied the value, it will be masked something like this. So copy the value and make a note of this as this will be required for resource creation in MCC. Click on API permissions, add a permission, click on Power BI service, delegated permissions, and from here select all the required API permissions and then click on add permission. Once the permissions are added, click on grant admin consent. You can see all the required API permissions on your screen. In the search box, type for groups. Click on groups, add a new group, provide a name for the group, and then click on create. Once the group is created, click on members, add members, and search for the service principal which we created in previous step and click on select. The service principal will be added as a member of this group. Now log into app.powerbi.com and then click on the gear icon, then admin portal, click on the tenant setting, scroll down under developer settings, look for allow service principal to use Power BI APIs. Expand this and then enable this. Select specify security group and then choose the security group which we created in previous step. Apply the changes. Scroll down further under admin API setting. Look for allow service principal to use read-only admin APIs. Enable this and then again select the security group which we created. Look for enhanced admin API responses with detailed metadata. Enable this and select it is for entire organization. Then look for enhanced admin API response with DEX and mashup expressions. Enable this for entire organization. To resolve the dataset parameters, grant access to this service principal at each workspace level. To do so, click on workspace. Look for the workspace where dataset parameters are available. Workspace access. And then from here, type the email ID of the service principal and add it as an admin. Perform this step for each workspace. Now, to refresh the datasets, click on Workspaces under Admin Portal and then select the workspace and then click on Refresh. Perform this step for each workspace. Log into Metadata Command Center and create a resource by clicking on New. From the search box, type Microsoft Power BI and click on Create. Provide a name for this resource. Under Power BI Cloud Connection mode, select Service Principal. You need to fill details such as Power BI Cloud URL and then client ID, tenant ID, and client secret which we generated in Microsoft Azure portal. In case if you connect to Microsoft Power BI using any proxy, then the proxy details you can provide in these fields. Click on Next. Select the runtime environment using which you want to run this scanner. To include the personal workspaces, you can click on Yes option. By default, personal workspaces will be excluded from the scan. To pull only the workspaces which are modified since last n number of days, you can specify the value in this text box. The value can be between 1 to 30 and only the workspaces which are modified since current date minus the number of days you have specified, those will be pulled. Click on Next. In this step, you can specify the filters to include or exclude the workspaces. I have specified 2 workspaces to include for this scan. Click on Next. You can do stakeholder assignment in this step. I will leave this box unchecked. In case you want to specify any schedule for this resource, you can do so. Save the resource and then click on Run. You can monitor the resource execution on this page. After successful execution of the scanner, you can see the metadata extraction stats here. Now log into Data Governance and Catalog. Click on Browse and then Data Catalog. Open the resource, and here we can see all the objects extracted from Power BI. So here we can see datasets, reports, dashboard, field, tile, and workspaces. Let's open a workspace. This workspace contains a dataset, a report, and a dashboard. Open the dashboard. Navigate to lineage. To expand the lineage, I'll click on the gear icon and select maximum. So this dashboard contains a reference dataset, Power BI dataset, and on top of the Power BI dataset, there is a Power BI report. And on top of this report, there is a dashboard. To see the more granular information, I will select data element from the dropdown. And here I can see in the Superstore dashboard, there is a tile called return order by customers. And inside, there is another tile called sales by geographic data. If I log into Power BI and if I open the Superstore workspace, I can see it's having a dataset called Superstore Sales on Snowflake, a report called Superstore Sales on Snowflake, and a dashboard called Superstore Dashboard. And same details are visible in CDGC. So Superstore Workspace is the name of the workspace. Inside, there is a dataset called Superstore Sales on Snowflake. With the same name, there is a BI report. And then we have a dashboard called Superstore Dashboard, which is this one. Let's open this dashboard. And in this dashboard, I can see there is a tile with the name Sales by Geography Data. And it is showing there is a tile called Sales by Geography Data. The other tile is a return orders by customer. And if I scroll down in this dashboard, I can see return order by customer. So this dashboard contains 2 tiles, and same 2 tiles are shown in the CDGC report as well. One thing you can notice here, the first object it is showing as a reference dataset, and this is because we have not done the connection assignment. So let's move to the metadata command center, and to do the connection assignment, click on monitor, then click on connection assignment. And here I can see this is my Power BI resource and it is having 2 reference datasets. But I know that GCS HC Vivek is a schema which is under a Snowflake resource. So I will do connection assignment for this Power BI dataset for this particular schema to a Snowflake resource. Click on 3 dots, click on assign, and then I will look for the Snowflake resource. So this is my Snowflake resource. And here you can see the schema is GCS underscore HC underscore Vivek. So I will assign this schema because my actual tables are residing in this schema which is used by Power BI. So click on assignment and let the connection assignment job run. After successful completion of the connection assignment job, go back to data governance and catalog and refresh this dashboard. And now you can see instead of reference dataset, I can see the actual Snowflake resources tagged here. I would recommend to refer Catalog Source Configuration Guide for Microsoft Power BI before you start configuration for Power BI Scanner in Metadata Command Center so that you will be having up-to-date information. We would love to hear from you. You can connect with us on any of the Informatica support channels. Thank you.